Hello everyone. Yes, I know you've been waiting for this. I'm so sorry that I'm late, but here's chapter 7, I believe. Or is it 6? Chapter 6 then? Today was their overnight field trip to Kyoto, and although they wanted to enjoy that day, they were aware that they were still on the clock. It was a large city, and Kurosama informed the students of good sniper locations and to stay in the sniper-friendly routes. Because of that, the students had to be divided into designated groups, and Koro would split his time for the students. Koro, on the other hand, provided all the students with a thick field trip guidebook. The groups weren't really decided though. Wayne wanted to be with her best friend, but she turned her down with a suspicious smile on her face. It didn't take long for Nagisa to call her onto their team. She looked at the paper, consisting of the names of the group members: Manami Okuda, Kaede Kaino, Yukiko Kanzaki, Tomohito Sujino, Nagisa Shioto, Wayne Waihelin, and finally, Karma Akabane. When she looked up to find the redhead, he was already staring at her with a smirk on his face and leaning over his chair. He winked and sipped some juice from this juice box, which he probably stole from Koro. Currently, they were standing in the station, waiting for their teachers. The class noticed the other sections of Class 3 getting in first class compartment. I mean, traveling is fun together, so all of us won't really notice much, I think, Wyan said. Not even a second later, the class teacher of the other section said, looking at them, "Now, boys and girls, try not to look sour. Rules are rules. You know how this works." One of the students peeked out of the train and said, "The student handbook states those of us with the highest grade point average get dibs on the school funds. Oh, is that the stench of abject poverty filling my nostrils?" "What were you saying about fun again, Wyan?" Ryo asked with a scowl on her face. "I stick with my comment though. You guys will find it fun, mark my words," Wyan said, chuckling. "Of course, you would know about fun," Ryo teased her, eyes going back and forth between Wyan and Karma. Wyan blushed and was about to lash out again when Jevlik's voice came through the crowd. "Pardon me, boys and girls." As usual, with a seductive voice like that, everyone was bound to look at her. But her voice was not even close to the outfit that got her attention. Sosuke pointed it out and said, Professor Bitch, why are you dressed like the paparazzi should care about who you are?" Jevlik took off her sunglasses and said, "Travel is no excuse not to look devastatingly fashionable." But her lecture on fashion was shortened when Kurosama told her to change. Well, Jevlik didn't agree immediately, but Kurosama looked mad and no one wanted to face that. The whole ride to Kyoto was a bit exhausting when there was an extra member in Wyan's group. At first, she decided to sit with the teachers because of the lack of space, but Jevlik was crying about wearing a normal outfit, and Wyan wasn't ready to handle a whiny teacher who acted more like a baby than the rest of the students. The girls in the group, though, made some space and adjusted on one side, while 3 of the boys sat on the other side. Kanzaki had all of Sujino's attention during the entire ride. He wasn't really subtle as he thought he was, but he was shy and looked away whenever Kanzaki moved. The girls had a fair idea about Wyan's crush on Karma. Well, to be honest, everyone did, so they moved her to sit exactly opposite to him. He was having fun staring at Wyan. She did pique some interest in him, and besides, Karma loved to make her squirm for some reason. He liked the fact that he had that much of an effect on a girl like her, someone who was very good in psychology. What made her like him anyway? He wanted to know all about it, but he wasn't exactly interested her in that way. She was just an interesting person because in spite of being so good in reading emotions, she had no control over her own, all of it just in front of him alone. When the classes reached Kyoto, every other section had luck and got a luxury hotel to stay at, while Class 3E had to settle for a traditional inn. "Hold on, the Ryo Sakamoto?" Kaino said, surprised. Their group was sightseeing after taking some rest, and Nagisa found some interesting places where assassinations could take place. "This is where Omiya used to be, the inn where Sakamoto was cut down by assassins in 1867, Sujino said. "That's right," Nagisa said, with the travel guide in his hand. "And just a little further down is the Honaju Temple. though it's moved a few times since they built it. Oh yeah, Oda Nobunaga's death counts as an assassination too, Kaino said, excitement laced in her voice. Just think, Kyoto has been the heart of Japan, but it's also the center of assassinations, Nagisa said and looked at the book again. Next up is Yasaka Shrine. They moved ahead to cross the road as the red signal flared. Karma sighed and said, Mind if we take a break first? I can really go for a sugar-loaded Kyoto coffee right about now. Why are you whining? You're a genius too. Shouldn't you find it cool to be on the actual spot? Wine asked, looking at him. Karma smirked and said, Oh yeah, but what's the fun in going through stuff you already know about? Wine quickly averted her eyes to the front, trying hard to concentrate on the road instead. Karma slowly slid his arm around her shoulder and moved her to his left, near the buildings close to the pavement, and away from the busy road. She was blushing at the contact. It almost felt like a date, right? Well, except the fact that there were 5 others tagging along. After taking a break, they were on their way to the next destination. The path, though, was deserted and dark, almost like an ideal place for an assassination. Well, they weren't always coming up with ways to kill Koro, and this was marked by Nagisa as one of the best places. Their fun was short-lived, though. A bunch of thugs, high school students, to be specific, surrounded them. Karma, as expected, was the first to open his mouth and say, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but something tells me that you gentlemen aren't tourists. Don't try to be a hero, kid. Hand over your lady friends and we won't. One of the boys started threatening students, but got interrupted and slammed down by Karma. He turned to Nagisa and said, You see that? What did I tell you? To hell with them. And without any witnesses, we are basically free to go nuts. These students weren't done yet. One of them charged toward Karma with a knife, but soon got knocked out. They weren't supposed to be scared, right? They were all training to be assassins. Waya knew she shouldn't feel scared, but she was. No matter how much of a brave face she put on, it didn't matter because the moment Kaino and Kanzaki got grabbed, she pulled Okuda's arm and ran away as fast as her legs could take her. Wayan felt like a coward. She ran away, leaving the group alone, leaving 2 of her classmates alone who were in trouble. She felt terrible as a girl herself to run away from the situation. In no way Karma could handle them on his own. She wanted to get some help if she couldn't help on her own. But her legs weren't moving and she was shaking while breathing heavily. She wanted to get out of the hidden area and find out what was happening, but she was too scared. After some time, the girls heard the sound of cars leaving, and there was silence in the atmosphere. But with Karma around, there shouldn't be this kind of silence, right? Thank you for listening. That was the end of the chapter. I'm actually really shocked. Excuse me, what? Some of you may have read on. I know it's been like a month. But, yeah, I will keep you updated because I do have prom, this Saturday. Tomorrow's Friday, so Saturday. And I'm going with my best friend's brother, but it's not like that. He's, going with me out of pity, and because I don't have a date, because I'm lonely. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. Have an amazing morning, have an amazing afternoon, have an amazing evening, whenever you're listening to this, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye, everyone.